Hi guys, this is Anay from Anything for Geeks, and today is a dinosaur video. And so we are going to be talking about raptors. So, raptors are, you can refer Velociraptors as raptors, so that's what we're going to be talking about today, like the specific genus Velociraptor. Or as a whole group, you can also call Dromaeosaurus raptors. Now, I have this toy here that's going to be used as an example. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it. So, Velociraptor was a small predator in the Late Cretaceous. One species has been found in Mongolia, hence its species name is Velociraptor mongoliensis, and I think there's been another species found in Kazakhstan. I have no idea what it's called. We're gonna just focus on Velociraptor as a whole. The species aren't very different from a layman's point of view. So, in the Cretaceous period, Velociraptor hunted in packs. Unfortunately, I do not have enough copies of this toy to show an example of a pack, but these guys were machines of war. The head has a lot of teeth. The hands have large claws, and not to mention the feet. These feet have sickle claws, which act like sushi knives. I have this toy Triceratops to demonstrate. I'm sorry, Triceratops, but you are gonna die in this video. The Velociraptor comes like this, and then jumps onto the prey's back. And then it just slices and dices with these claws. So like this. And then these are like bleeding wounds. They cause a lot of blood loss in the animal, and so the animal dies quickly. And then the Velociraptors feast. Now, this would actually happen with multiple Velociraptors. So the Triceratops is basically a filleted dinosaur before you know it. So Velociraptors are basically like the sushi knives of the Cretaceous. And to mention this Triceratops toy, it's actually more closer in size to a Protoceratops, which Velociraptor would actually have hunted. We actually have found a very cool fossil of a Velociraptor and a Protoceratops. And kind of like this position, they're fighting, and a sandstorm mummified them and buried them. That is what paleontologists believe, and their bones have been found interlocking like this. The Velociraptor in there has his left claw on the foot embedded in the Protoceratops' stomach, and the Protoceratops has his foot smashing the Velociraptor's head. So yes, they were in the midst of very vicious and vigorous battle when they died, and and the skeletons are literally almost complete. I think they're actually completely complete. I have no idea if that's even proper English, but we'll go on with it. So Velociraptor is small, but that does not mean that it was not dangerous. It was the most dangerous animal on Earth back then. Well, not the most dangerous, but probably the second most dangerous. You have to count the T-Rex. But in terms of speed, this would be the most dangerous, because T-Rex was very slow. I'm diverging. And so, Velociraptors, I mentioned that it was the size of a turkey, and it looked like a turkey in real life as well, except with with like the teeth and like the long tail. So the toy is actually kind of inaccurate, because you can very well see there are no feathers upon this thing at all. It's completely scaly. So, I mean, I can't really blame the manufacturers. I have like one dinosaur toy that has feathers, and all the rest nada. So, since it had feathers and since it lived in the Gobi Desert, some people might be wondering how come the Velociraptors didn't die of heat stroke. The thing is, these feathers probably weren't for insulation. They were most probably for like looks and display. And second, the Gobi wasn't so like warm back then. The Earth had gone in under an extensive period of cooling in the late Jurassic. This dinosaurs became smaller, but at the late Cretaceous, when a Velociraptor lived, the temperatures were just starting to rise again. So the Gobi was not as hot as it is today. So the Gobi back then was more of like a dry jungle with some spaces of desert mixed in between, but overall it was a very nice place to live in. So then the Velociraptors, even if those feathers were for insulation, and they would not have died of heat stroke, because the Gobi was not a desert back then. It was the Gobi jungle back then, as we mentioned in our Therizinosaurus video. A few days ago, or maybe a few weeks. And speaking of Therizinosaurs, a Velociraptor probably hunted those guys as well. And that would mean that it was hunting its cousins. Which is a bit dark if you ask me, because it's pretty close to cannibalism, but I guess in paleontology, when you say cousins, you mean like you're like I have no idea, maybe like your millionth cousin removed 100 times, I guess, because these guys have had millions of years to converge and evolve from one common ancestor. So yeah, not so close cousins. About the Velociraptor's color, on this toy it's green, and the Velociraptor has a purple snout with an orange underbelly. We have absolutely no way of discovering the skin color. Maybe if we get a really nicely preserved animal with like all the skin preserved, maybe we could extract some melanosomes, which are basically like the cell, like I think they're proteins. I don't know, but melanosomes are the stuff in living animals, like and like in birds that give the feathers color. So yes, we can figure out what color dinosaur feathers were actually. We have two relatives of Velociraptor with their color decoded. I mean, we don't know what their skin color was, but we know what their feather color was. One example is Anchiornis, which is a troodontid that lived a bit earlier. And we know that it was black with a red crust of feathers on its head, and a bit of dark red mixed in, dark red spots, and then it had like these white streaks on its wings, like these white stripes. And yeah, And then there was Microraptor, which looked like a cross between a Velociraptor and a European starling, because it was basically a smaller version of Velociraptor that was able to glide, and its feathers were iridescent, which meant that they reflected many colors at once, like a European starlings. If you live in North America or Europe, you'll probably see them a lot, because they're like the most common. I mean, they're called European starlings, and also they're like the most common bird in North America, although they're European because they're invasive species, but I digress again. And so yeah, the Velociraptor's a cool animal. And here's one very important thing to note. The raptors in Jurassic Park, while they are referred to as Velociraptor mongoliensis, actually, well, like we said, these guys have feathers, but back then everybody thought that dinosaurs were like reptiles, but so we can pass that, but still the size remains a problem, because Velociraptor, we mentioned that it's the size of a turkey, which means like it would be like a 3 to 4 feet or maybe even 2 feet tall. But the Velociraptors in the Jurassic Park films are like 6 feet tall when they're adults, and they can look people straight in the eye, which is a bit unnerving if you ask me. Like, imagine if this raptor is real and it's looking at you. And it's actually snarling at you. Yawning. And now we know. Oh, and actually we don't know, but the raptors in Jurassic Park are actually more closer in size to Deinonychus. That was what was previously thought. And one thing to be noted is like another raptor, and by raptor I'm referring to dromaeosaurs, and a gigantic raptor that was as big as a polar bear. It is very big, actually, and it was as big as a polar bear. It was discovered in Utah and was promptly named the Utah Raptor, the thief of Utah, and it was definitely a thief of life. Okay, maybe that was a bit too much. But anyways, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Probably a bit short for a video, but still I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also share, and also comment your thoughts below. Down below, it's down there. Or else the raptor will come and get you. Okay. Bye. And also, do not forget to subscribe.